Welcome to this episode of the Million Dollar Mastermind. I'm Larry Weidel, and let's get started. All right, we're back with Willie Naranjo, a $2.5 million earner out of Miami, Florida, offices all over the United States, living a dream life, building a dream organization, and seems to be picking up speed in terms of expansion and growth in every area of his life. And I want to find out how he keeps up with all of it. So welcome back, Willie.
Oh, thank you, Larry, for having me again. And I'm so excited to share with you my life.
Yes, it's fascinating how you approach things. And, I need to remind everybody, Willie's got the same 24 hours in the day we have. But Willie's got to be, I'd like to talk about how you keep from getting overwhelmed, overcommitted, frustrated with too many things happening you can't keep up with. And you talked about the fact of doing things as a family. You're traveling, you're on the road. You have gotten your own personal hobby / obsession of, dream that I'm sure millions of people have, of being able to not only own a Ferrari or own a bunch of Ferraris and then even race Ferraris. You're the only one I know that regularly flies to Italy to race his Ferraris. And but you talked about your business expanding in 40 states. You talked about day trading with your money, trying to make everything you've got compound and make money. Your business to compound and grow. The money that you've saved and set aside, keep that growing in places where that's going to generate more growth. And then continuing to spend more and more time on high value, high profile personal activities, exposing you and your wife to the greatest things the world has to offer, where you get in face to face, see what other people have done. And, I think about the Roman Colosseum. Of course, they built a lot of Colosseums everywhere, but, the Roman Colosseum is just amazing in the fact that they had 72 portals, arches, 72 gates into the Colosseum. They had, I think, 60,000 seats, but just this alone. And of course, they had 5 layers of basements underneath. They had the water came down, aqueducted out of the mountains hundreds of miles away. And they had the engineers figure that out to where they not only could take care of the animals and the gladiators below ground, they had water fountains and toilet facilities for the 60,000 people up at the top. That's just the water part of it. But every day, they had shows every day. And each one of those 60,000 people had their own individual ticket. And on that ticket, it showed which gate or which arch they were to walk through, which hallway they were to go through, and how it directed them step by step to where their exact seat was. And that's 60-something thousand tickets a day, just the tickets that had to be made and then had to be distributed to the actual people who were going to use them. I mean, the amount of work that the Romans figured out just to have the Colosseum and the games there, that's just, the tip of the iceberg of some of the amazing things that was involved in the Colosseum. I used to say to our guys, I said, here's what the Romans did thousands of years ago. What in the crap are we doing? Why can't we figure something out here? Why are we sitting around stumbling and fumbling and making, tying our shoelaces in such a hard thing? How come we can't double, triple, multiply, compound, and that's what's frustrated me in management since I've gotten out of running the training center, because without cell phones, without fax machines, the company didn't even basically was just getting their first computers. Everything was done by hand and ground lines. We still went from 50 recruits to the next year 1,800 recruits, to the next year 7,200 recruits, to the next year 15,000 recruits, so about 25,000 recruits over a matter of like 3.5 years. And then we got too big too fast, and they maybe shut my training center down. But I look around, it's like, why aren't people doing that now? Now with all the social media and the technology and the Zoom and this, that, and the other. But thank goodness we've seen over the last few months in a lot of industries, people are figuring that out. And it's almost like a revolution in thinking because of this quarantine deal that people are, every industry really is rethinking how they're going to do their business. And I bet there's going to be a ton of businesses going bankrupt, but there's going to be a ton of businesses that are going to be revolutionized for the better, and mainly because they're forced to. But how do you keep up with this dazzling array of activities you have to deal with on a daily, monthly basis?
Well, Larry, first of all, you for my wife and I, you are one of the person who inspire us, because you do a lot of things, and in the company, I believe you are one of the people who be more committed with the business, because you are doing a lot of things all the time, like calls, broadcasts, and meetings. Like you invite us a couple times to the club. And you show us, for example, one time we've been in the Mar-a-Lago with you, and it's like for us, like oh my God, this is another level. We someday we can be there at something like that. And you inspire us in a lot of different ways, and you are the for us the best example. You can do a lot of things at the same time and enjoy your life. You have you like art. You do a lot of things. It's amazing, and it's an inspiration. And thank you for that, because be close to you is helping us a lot to grow our mind, our the possibilities in what we can do. And to answer your question, for how to maintain all of the things running at the same time, I believe everything starts since I was young. I go back a little bit again, because since I was young, I doing a lot of things at the same time. One of the things was study, okay, going to the university and all of that. Another thing was to run the coffee farm for my father. And another thing I did at the same time was I play hockey, roller hockey. I've been in the Colombia national team, and I do all the things at the same time. And I work in all of the time and the schedule and all of that all at the same time, and travel with the national team, and also study, and also do. And when I came to the United States, it's getting me crazy. Like most of the people do one thing, and they cannot do more things. Like for example, you talk with a person who be in the college, and they only do the college, and I say, okay, why they do the rest of the time? They spend a lot of time doing nothing. And also the people who go to job, they work from 9 to 10. It's 40 hours, and they feel like a exhaust because they only work 40 hours when we have hundreds of hours. And when I came here, I looking to do a lot of things at the same time, because I have the discipline to do a lot of things, and use the time in my favor. And when I came here and I started working, because remember I told you before, I came to Miami to study, but I started work, and my father did one amazing thing at that moment. He when I started working, because he paid everything my expenses, because he's rich. And when I start working, I tell him, okay, father, I start working with this company to learn something. I say, okay, amazing, amazing son. Okay, now you are by your own. He took on my my allowance, and I start living by my own. And at that moment, okay, why I tell him that I work? But at that the thing, because I start really in the reality, and I start working by myself, pay my bills and all of that, and I start using my time, and I start working. I start going to school. I start normally. I study every night. I study weekends about money. I start doing a course about finance because I love that part. I love the part of the investment, and I get the knowledge about do a lot of things at the same time since I was young, because I I I did the manage the farm, study, and also play hockey. And from hockey, I learned the discipline. I learned that I need to work hard if I want to get something. I need to, and also my wife and I, we don't drink, we don't we don't smoke, we don't do anything of that. I get that from the sport, because I learned there, if I drink, I it's like if I drink what one cup, it's like I lose 1 week of training, and I don't want to lose 1 week of training. That's why I learned not to drink, and I don't drink any at all. And also, you talk about all the things we do, how we enjoy the life, but we do that for ourselves. We don't do that for anybody else. We don't have social media. When my wife and I, we don't have any kind of social media, because the thing we do is for us, not to tell the world, okay, we do this, we do that. Most of the people don't know, because you ask me, most people don't know we have a couple Ferraris, we race Ferrari, because I don't care what the people think, don't think, or whatever. It's because we want to do it. It's because it's for ourselves, not to show the people. I saw most of the people doing in social media, like I tell what they do every day, and it's crazy. Everybody know what they're doing. Is not good or bad, but for my point of view, is for us, it's not. It doesn't work. I don't want. I read in some article that most of the rich people, they don't have social media because they don't want the people know what they are or what they do. And in our case, we do, with the thing we do is for ourselves and for our family. And that's from where I get the discipline to do a lot of things at the same time. From when I start doing that, since I young. That's where I came, Larry.
And so how do you move through how do you divide up the year, the day, the month, the year? What some people do, Willie, is they have no system, no rhythm. You've already talked about in a previous episode, you like to do the trips, but you go ahead and plan them. Like you have 10 of them planned and paid for in advance now. And so you put them on the calendar in advance, like, that time is blocked out. And so once you put, the one big thing to do is to put things on a schedule. Like people say to me, like, why do you do the big hitter call every Monday? Mike Tuttle told me once, he said, if I had one thing on my schedule during a week that I always had to do it at that time, he said, I'd be miserable all week long, thinking, if he said, I'd feel like I'm a prisoner. And I said, well, Mike, here's the way I look at it. I got my big hitter call, I do 9 o'clock Eastern time every Monday. And I said, you know what? I do that so I can free up the rest of the time. Because I used to spend my time, Willie, how frustrating it is to try and chase people down on the phone. I don't know what it is, but you can almost never get someone to call them on the phone and get them. I don't know if you run into that problem,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have your key
Yeah.
people, your key 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 people, and you call them, you can't get them. And, you leave a message or you do texting or whatever. But the thing is, most of the time I like to talk. I don't like to text. And so I spent so much time, so many decades of chasing people around. I said, you know what? I'm going to do a call on Monday morning. I'm going to make it so powerful. I'm going to have the best people in the company. And if my guys don't call in, the heck with them. Who cares? I'm just not going to worry. They can just die as far as I'm concerned. Now, at this point, I wasn't running a training center. You can't do that with rookies, in it. But, when you're working with people who have their own offices and their own teams or their own organizations, you can do that. And so I do it like that. I just get so many things done at one call, so many things accomplished. Like we'll have the recruiting segment on there. I stay in touch with top leaders like yourself. And otherwise, you're just running around in circles trying to get people one at a time, and you never get anything done. So do you have like anchor points that where, like, here's how I divide up the months. Here's how I divide up the weeks. Here's how I slice things up. Like you said, you stay in touch when you're on the road. What does that mean?
Oh yes. In our case, I'm very structured, and I like organized things. And my wife and I, we are so organized. And I right now we have 24 RVPs that we run everything together, meetings, everything together. I am in charge of the logistic of that. For example, we have two Tuesday night trainings from 7 to 9. In that time, I have every week around 5 different RVPs running the training, and I in charge of have the topic, what part each one of them is doing, and all of that. Also, we have another different trainings. I run all the logistics, and I talk with the RVPs, the topic, and all of that. Right now, I'm more in touch with the base shop because we have a huge base shop, and we in contact in contact with the top leaders of the base shops, and also we have in contact with the top leaders of the hierarchy, and we have a club, because we need to have board members of the hierarchy, because we are so big, and my wife and I, we understand when we need to learn a lot of things, and we are not so good, and we need help. And we decide to create we call a 30-30 club because of you, because at the 30-30, we have this 30-30 club, and with this club, we've been in touch most of the month, talking about what we need to do, what is the next step, what we need to increase as a business. And no matter where we are talking with them by phone, by conference call, by Zoom, FaceTime, or wherever is necessary. For example, when we've been in before the pandemic, like the week when the start the pandemic, that was the second week of March, we've been in Egypt in a trip, and right away we have a meeting with the top leader of the hierarchy, decided what we're gonna do as a hierarchy, what we're gonna do as a training, what we're gonna do about Zoom, what we're gonna do, and we start working together. And we've been in Egypt. Doesn't matter we are so far. For us, we are thinking all the time in the business. We finish our trip, come back to Miami, and continue doing the business and all of that. And we have these board members we call 30-30 Club, and to talk about what we need to do about the business, and with them we have contact all the time, and also with the top leaders of the base shop. And that's how we run our business. And I organize, my wife and I organize everything at the hierarchy. But we have top members of the hierarchy who help us to run everything. And you say one thing before about the conference call every Monday. In our case, we have that almost like the same for the hierarchy, but at Tuesday night at 10 p.m. at night, because before I have meetings for the full timer meeting Monday morning and all of that, but some of them go, some of them not go, and I say, okay, no, I I don't I've been frustrated with this and decide to find really the people who want to work and be coaching by me. And we start in 2012 at training at 10 p.m. because we say, okay, at 10 p.m., nobody can say me they are in appointment. Nobody tell me they have to answer a call. No, that's the perfect time to the people to be in training because they don't have any distraction. And in that time, I found the people who really want to go to the next level. Because if you want to go to the next level, doesn't matter the time, doesn't matter the day. And we start doing that. We call Navy SEAL every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. to the leaders. And from there, all the RVPs we have right now, we have 29 RVPs. It came from that meeting because that meeting is especially dedicated for the people who want to become an RVPs. That's a little bit that's how we run the thing that we have in the hierarchy.
Yeah, and things that I would point out that I want people to pick up from this is you cannot get big running things by the seat of your pants. You have to if you get big, you have lots of people, lots of new people, very few veterans because you're growing. And the more simplicity you have and the more you have your schedule down to where everybody knows that, like a Monday morning for full-timers, I do a call. People can choose to plug in or not. On Tuesday night, you have a call. Boom. People, if they want to work with Willie, they're going to get on that Tuesday night call. And the other meetings you set up. And the thing is that if you're listening out there, don't waste time trying to find a convenient time for everybody to get together on a call or a meeting, because there is no perfect time. It'll be inconvenient for somebody. And it's your job to pick out the best time for you, that you can do it on a regular basis because you are the most important person on the team, and something that is, basically suitable, is going to be suitable for the bulk of the people. And then everybody else has got a choice. They can go somewhere else or they can fall in line with you and cooperate. And if they have excuses and they don't show up, Willie, like you said, that sends you the signal is they don't really take this that serious. Is that right?
That's correct.
Because I know when you got over and you got started, if you had someone making $2 to $3 million a year who was on a call and was going to give them personal training at a certain time, there was no way you would ever miss that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's the same attitude you've got to have. You try and be accommodating to people, but there's a point past which you just cannot worry about it. And so what you talk about, you as the leader, as you get bigger and bigger, Willie, what I'm hearing you say, and I want to emphasize so people don't miss the point, it's not that Willie's not working. It's not that you're not going to be working. You have all of this stuff, all these plates spinning in your head. But the deal is, how can you keep growing? You got to duplicate yourself. So you have to set up the schedule. You have to be in charge of what Willie calls logistics. And if I would say logistics, Willie, I'm thinking what goes on, what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and who's going to do it, and what's going to be covered during at that thing? Like, and it is that pretty much what you're talking about when you say you're in charge of the logistics? You don't necessarily have to do the
Yeah.
meetings, but you're setting up the meetings. This is the structure. You're setting up a people processing plant, like you're in the recruiting, training, development, open offices business, much like if you were in a McDonald's or a retail shoe store where you're going to use your shoe store as a training center to open shoe stores all over the country, just like that. What do they have? Either Nike show or Adidas or something like that. You're going to use it as a training center, and people come up through the ranks. They go get the chance to go open their store, but you have to have a way where you can stay in touch with the leaders and make sure everybody's on the same track. And the person who's got to set that up is you. And that's what you were saying, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And normally we, because we travel a lot, we try to plan our travel because our main day to training is Tuesday nights. Normally we travel from Wednesday to Tuesday afternoon. That's that normally our when we travel we try to during the year skip like 3 or 4 maximum 4 trainings, Tuesday night trainings. That's our the way we schedule everything because we want to be there. Now is everything too soon. It's gonna be more easy, but before be in the office for us as the most important thing. But that's the time we have contact with the people, we see all the people around, the new people, the veterans, and all of that. And we in purpose we travel from Wednesday to Tuesdays because we need to be there at Tuesday night training and the Navy SEALs. That's the way we schedule from years, and in that way we always be in their mind, their eyes, and we can have touch with everybody in the hierarchy.
See, and what that does, that builds security, that builds stability, that allows them to have confidence in the program you're running, because it's not like, what are we going to do this week? Well, I don't know. I didn't hear. Are we going to move here? We're going to be there. There's a rhythm. There's a momentum that they can count on, that you're always going to be there, and it takes the guesswork. One of the things about running a successful business, getting everybody on the same page, but you've got to get everybody on the same page. It's got to be, what are we going to do? When are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? And it just takes all of the guesswork and wondering out of it so they can actually spend their time working, because they know what is next, and they know what they're going to be, what's important, and they know what's expected, because you keep up with the numbers. And they know what they're supposed to do. They know how. Just like you planned you were planning your travel from like Wednesday to Tuesday, middle of the day. They're able to plan their week they know when those numbers are going to have to be reported. They know what numbers are going to have to turn into. They're going to have to turn into you. And so it just takes the guesswork. It builds stability. You define the rules of the game of what it is to play successfully in the Willie Naranjo organization. It's just like basketball has rules. Willie Naranjo's team has rules. If you want to play with us, this is how you play. This is how we do it. And we'll teach you how we do it if you want to learn. And so it allows you to build momentum. It allows you to take the guesswork out. But it also allows you to get allow the best and brightest people to have super growth super fast. You've noticed that?
Oh yeah. Now we have a lot of example in our hierarchy. We have, for example, Miguel Illich. He's gonna get close to $1 million in 7 years. Since he started, he's gonna be the fastest person to become $1 million earner in our company in 7 years. He applied everything we teach him. He's coachable. He decided to do everything we told him, and we are together in doing training, running the hierarchy, and we work as a family. That's the truth. I told you before, we are 24 RVPs running all the business, the meetings together. Right now through Zoom, we have almost 1,000 people every training doing the same thing, like a one big base shop, but it's a hierarchy. And we have a lot of examples. Diana Macia in 4 years, he's gonna cross 500,000 or 600,000 a year. Jorge Marifino, he's crossing 400, 500,000 a year too. Lorenzo Carrion crossing almost 500,000 a year too. And we have a lot of good examples, but it's like it's compressing time, doing the right thing, working together, working hard. And I believe that the system is working, and we have a very good example of that.
Well, thanks so much, Willie, for taking the time to get into the depths of this thing in ways that I know is much more detailed than you usually share with people. But at the essence, you've got really a simple life and a simple schedule in terms of how you approach it. And that allows you to get big because it allows a lot of people to come into it. And because you have just a few meetings, just a few, your priorities. I guess one thing I see about you is you're really good at organizing yourself around the priorities in your business life, your personal life, the principles you believe in, and defining what you want your life to be like and how you've got to live it to be able to grow and to be satisfied and fulfilled. Is that fair?
That's correct.
And the principles you can go back through, folks. I'm not going to review what those things are. They're in these 3 episodes that we've done with Willie. But thanks so much, Willie. I'm looking forward to see you continue to climb up the charts, and as you start producing more and more $1 million earners on your team, as your income continues to grow, as you move into all 50 states and all of the provinces of Canada, it's going to be fun to get back with you and see how things are going and what new insights you have to share. So thanks so much, Willie.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for inviting us, and anytime you are one of our coaches. Thank you so much.
Call me anytime, Willie. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Thanks for listening to this episode of $1 Million Mastermind with me, Larry Weidel. If I've helped you in any way, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. For more information like this, listen to our other $1 Million Mastermind episodes and check out my Weidel Academy YouTube channel and visit us on WeidelOnWinning.com. I'm the $1 Million Mastermind, and until next time, go, go, go.